Konnan, have you seen this feud between Ariel Helwani and Paddy the Baddy?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Though I will say that our Easter egg this week is Paddy the Baddy with this guy Gordon and another Spanish guy. That's great.
Okay, so listen to this. So Paddy goes on Dana White's show.
Right.
And listen to this conversation they have about Ariel Helwani, right?
All right.
I hate all these journalists, especially the ones what earn off us. You know what I mean? Like Ariel Helwani in particular. Like he loves earning money off fighters. Yeah. Like every decent job he's had, he's been sacked from. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's just a biased content creator. Yeah. You know what I mean? 100%. And he hates on you, hates on the UFC, even hates on me now. Yeah. And it proper annoys me because he uses fighters for clicks, uses fighters to make money, and then tries to have the audacity to talk about the UFC and yourself, saying that they don't pay the fighters enough. Get your dough out, Ariel. You know what I mean? Start paying people for these interviews, what you make thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on. And I know that now because I make money off YouTube. So I know how much he earns off YouTube, off all his interviews, what he does. And you're doing it for exposure. No, you're not. You're doing it to put money in your pocket, Ariel, you little rodent. Lads.
Woo! I just sat back and let that go. I didn't want to interrupt. He's a massive sack of is what he is.
Exactly.
He's the biggest piece of all time, and I couldn't have said it better.
He wanted, like, when I was in New York for the MSG card last...
No, keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Last year, he wanted me to do an interview with him, and I had a paid interview that day, and he wanted me to really let go of that paid interview to do an interview with him for BT Sport, what he's getting paid for. And he said, oh, no, that's me journalist integrity. You're not a journalist no more.
Far from it.
You're
You're
a content creator, Ariel. You're not a journalist. Stop lying. You're very biased in what you do and what you say.
So true.
And he went on his MMA hour and talked about me and my manager. And then I ended up messaging him. They're going to have to bleep this out, but my first line was, you're a cheeky you. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. But I was just me being honest. You know what I mean? He was talking about me, saying that I can't believe fighters and managers have got the audacity to ask me for money. Why wouldn't we? You're a content creator.
Wait.
All right. So Ariel responded.
This is great.
This is a bit of the response because he had a big he had a long response.
All right.
But
you'll
this is like
tell him when to stop.
No, but this is a bit of he had like an hour responses, but this is a clip. All right, go ahead.
I ain't paying for. That's not how this works. You don't pay for coverage. That's not how this works. Does Joe Rogan pay his guests? Did Oprah pay her guests? Did Larry King pay his guests? Do the Smartless guys, do they pay their? No, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Now, if you're upset about the fact that you come on my show and I'm getting paid to do the show, well, I could then in turn say the same thing. I'm upset that I have to go to your fights and you get paid more than me when you fight. It's stupid. I would never say that because that's ridiculous. We all have a job. We all have a purpose in all of this. And I don't get a single extra dollar off of any of it. I don't pay. The moment I start paying for interviews, the moment I start actually paying people to come on shows or paying even for their transportation or anything like that, cut me off. Throw me in the back. I ain't paying.
Okay. So then Ariel went on Pat McAfee's show. Okay. Right. Like this, because this has been a few days. Like this has been going on. Right. Go ahead.
Who's that in the mask?
Ariel. He puts a mask on.
Asked.
Wait a minute.
Have you ever been asked to pay for an interview?
What's that?
Have you ever reached out to someone, talked to a guest, and said, "Hey, come on the show"? And the guy's like, or the gal is like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on if you pay me."
No,
he pays everybody, I think, right?
No,
you don't pay everybody.
No, you don't say. If somebody said it to me, I wouldn't do it. I present though with some, depending upon what I want to do, because it's like a rev share situation. You know, so like if somebody said to me, "You need to pay me," there would be an immediate. There'd be it would be an immediate right back the other way. Did somebody do that to you?
First time in 15 years covering the great sport of MMA. Yesterday,
No,
I don't want to name names.
Thank God.
But I have been lucky enough.
We're in the back.
We're gonna be off anyway.
I've been lucky enough to interview everyone from Hoist Gracie to John Jones to Daniel Cormier to Conor McGregor at the height of it all, and it has never even been hinted, even like whispered hey, if you could break me off a little something, I'd appreciate it. Yesterday, for the first time, someone asked for payment. And I'm still floored by the whole thing. So I just wanted to know, am I crazy, or do you feel the same way? Apparently you feel the same way.
You kind of have to just realize that that's how some people are going to feel, and they're idiots, and you just kind of move on. Now,
that's good enough. So that was early. That was Ariel breaking it on their show, and it turned out to be Paddy the Baddy. Okay, so that was all right. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think Paddy has a point. If he's making money off of him, he can charge him.
Right.
And that was a great interview that he gave Dana, because in a lot of ways he is a content creator. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of truth to what Paddy said. I lean a little bit more towards him, because if he feels that this guy making money off of him, which he is, because if he's on his show, he's getting high numbers and he's getting paid, and Paddy's getting nothing. And Paddy says, well, if I'm going to be on your show, I want a little something, something. He's within his right, bro.
Doesn't that open the door?
We've had people on our show ask for money. Yeah, they've been denied.
And doesn't that open the door for, what about Dave Meltzer, who, he's a reporter for wrestling. He has wrestlers on his show. He writes about them.
Right.
He generates his income based off of wrestling and wrestlers, and you know what I mean.
Right.
So that could expand to wrestling reporters, football reporters, and podcasters, baseball, whatever. Right. If that's something that's going to be taken seriously and into consideration.
Well, I think the thing is that it depends on who you have on your show, right? Like if you have like say you have you have a show and it doesn't have any reach, you're a nobody, right? And you want somebody to come on your show. It's like, it does the person the person given the time no benefit if there's no reach for the show. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're going on somebody's show and they're going to do big numbers because you're on that, and they don't do, it's like, and they're going to make more money on YouTube on like YouTube clicks, right? But if it's like, when you're like at a certain level, everybody kind of shares content. I can go on so-and-so show. You can go on so-and-so. They can come on our show and stuff. And it's not like, we're all doing the same thing. So it is kind of weird, like if a fighter comes on, like say, for instance, like would Ariel pay The Rock to come on his show because he knows The Rock's appearance will get him, like make him a fortune? It's a fair question, right? But it's like, if the Rock goes on Ariel's show, like The Rock doesn't need any cut, like he doesn't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be doing somebody a favor. So I think it's like maybe Paddy thought he's doing Ariel a favor and Ariel's making money off him, so he should give him money. But I don't know who's doing who the favor here, because Ariel's got a big audience, and he's giving Paddy the ability to talk to his audience and maybe gain new fans. That's I don't know. It's an interesting question. It's an interesting conversation. I see both sides of it, but honestly, it's like stuff like this. Like reporters, TV show. This is media. This is what we do. It's like you have a show and you put the effort in. It's like what are you gonna do? Just pay everybody that comes on the show? Like it would pay. I don't know. I would disagree with that. But it's like if somebody asks for it, it depends whether or not you want to pay it or not. That's what I would.
Yeah,
say.
I'm a big Ariel fan. And but he is making bank. Mm-hmm. And if somebody wants some money, and Paddy obviously needs a promotion right now, but Paddy doesn't need Ariel. As long as he keeps winning, he'll have all the promotion he needs.
Right.
Obviously, if somebody's going to help you with numbers in the future, it might be the thing of the future where people, it's like me. I don't do podcasts. And usually if I do, it's one or two reasons. It's a friend or I'm getting paid.
Right.
I just don't have enough time to give away free pod. My time is not free, bro. Unless I want it to be free, and I only give it to friends, so that's about it. And that's how it goes.
That's changing too, the wrestling podcasting game, because when I started, there wasn't that many. I was obviously jumping off the MLW, rubbing off those coattails and stuff, and Bruce and all those that were starting. I started shortly after, so I got lucky that...
Bro, a lot of people don't know this, but the very first podcast that I ever heard, and I think that he was the first podcaster, was us way back in WCW, but it didn't have as big an audience as like when I started. The two guys that were really in the podcasting game was Meltzer and Cabana. But MLW was the first podcast, which obviously I was on.
Yeah.
That you had to pay to listen to. The other ones were free.
Yeah.
We were the first podcast that talked about something that wasn't wrestling, you know? So, you know, and a lot of people started the podcasting game because of us. There weren't that many people in the podcasting game. You know, Jericho wasn't in the podcasting game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and a lot of people I've heard and I've seen, they've how would you say, taken libariously from our format. Sounds a lot like our show. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But anyways, and that's cool, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah. But when I started, there were only 2 podcasts.
Right.
What I was going to finish up and say was that
There only were. Yeah.
Nowadays, when literally everyone has a podcast, including hundreds of fans, the boys are charging now, because the first time you get
because if the fans are getting podcasts
right,
now,
and
so it's like, how are they going? Right, exactly. Yeah.
The first time you get paid for a podcast, you're never going to want to not get paid again. So the dominoes start falling. Now that you have hosts that pay guys always want to get paid. So and that's what's happening. Everybody's getting paid to do
Right.
shows.
My time's not free unless I want it to be.
Right.
You know, so that's how I roll.
Cool. Well, that's been interesting talks.
All right, so this has been K100 Talks, man. I want to thank all you guys for the record numbers we've been doing every single week. The number goes up, so thank you for spreading the word to friend or foe. As usual, if you have any comments about this topic, send them to K100 questions at gmail.com. Keep the letters short so we can read a grip of them. And have a happy holidays and a good weekend.